could you do me like that? How could you do me like that?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants and Crossing Your YouTube side of imitated. Never duplicated superstar Mr. Main Event himself, Tim Vicious M. We're gonna go over Raw this week. Was in Cleveland, Ohio, and well, yours truly did have the chance to go and participate at this Raw, but you know, I had obligations here. I have family. I have other important matters I had to tend to, and not only that, if I did that, I wouldn't get to be here with all of you beautiful, crazy bastards watching right now. So it's a small sacrifice I'm willing to make for all of you. With that said, though, before we get into this week's show, just like always, we're going to switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. It was the Tribute to the Troops show, and what I'm going to say, it is no way in shape or form meant to be taken as a political thing, so don't take it as that, because it is literally just at face value. There's no harm whatsoever in showing some gratitude towards the servicemen and women that actually take the time to sign up for active duty and even reserves. There's no harm in it whatsoever. You know, because everyone's got big game and will talk that talk saying, I won't let no one do this to me, I won't let no one do that. And then, you know, a lot of times somebody will step up and they'll be like, yeah. You know, and I've got a lot of family that has served. Hell, I even tried to. And I got turned down because really bad asthma and breathing issues. And for those that have followed, that know me even before I started this show 10 years ago, y'all know the kind of breathing issues I have had and deal with and still deal with to this day. So yeah, I tried. Unfortunately, I couldn't. But either way, it was the Tribute to the Troops show, so outside of the normal pop-in circumstance of showing clips from previous Tribute to the Troops shows, they had military personnel ringside. They highlighted wrestlers that did serve, like Montez Ford, Bobby Lashley, and such. And you know, that kind of basic rigmarole. So the show started out with the first round of the U.S. title contenders tournament made by the walking douche nozzle. Logan Paul. And it was Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. Really good match. I dug it. It was, I don't want to say it was Lucha Underground. It was Lucha Underground, but if WWE would have done Lucha Underground, part of me would like to think that would have been the kind of quality of lucha matches that they would have had. Because it was good, it was crisp, and it was just wow. I liked it. Santos got the win. He won. He's moving forward in the tournament. However, Dragon Lee really was the true winner at the end of the weekend, because the following night he competed at the NXT show, and lo and behold, what happened? He beat Dom and is now your new North American champion. So we also had Bobby Lashley competing in the tournament, going against Karrion Kross, and yeah, that went about as well as you expected for Kross. Bobby Lashley put him on the ass end of an ass kicking all kinds of different ways, and yep, that pretty much sums it up. So yeah, Bobby won, moving forward. CM Punk came out and he cut a promo, and nothing bad or negative. he was hyping up saying, well, which brand am I going to sign with? Am I going to sign with Raw? Am I going to sign with SmackDown? Hey, I got a meeting with Shawn Michaels. Maybe I'll sign with NXT. This, that, and the other. And yes, Punk was there at NXT, at the NXT show over the weekend. And some people were saying, oh my God, did you see that? He wore a Bret Hart hoodie for meeting with Shawn Michaels, blah, 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 blah. Dude, here's a far-fetched idea. Maybe, just maybe, in this wild world of professional wrestling, that was fucking planned out in advance for shits and giggles. Just saying. Just saying. Either way, we'll give a spoiler here. He came out on this episode of Raw and officially signed with Monday Night Raw. But on SmackDown, he hinted at the possibility of matches with some people. Cody, Kevin Owens, Roman went pretty heavy on Roman, saying, hey, Tribal Chief, I acknowledge you. I appreciate all the hard work you're doing. But let's not forget, your wise man was originally my wise man. And I am the original OG Paul Heyman guy. Nah. You want to talk about the original Paul Heyman guy? Look at Steve Austin. He was with him during the Dangerous Alliance. You want to talk about some other OG Paul Heyman guys? Rob Van Dam, Shane Douglas, Taz, Tommy Dreamer, Mick fucking Foley. They're OG Paul Heyman guys. Just saying. But when after he signed on Raw, Seth came out, confronted him, and wow, I'm not trying to compare the Eddie Kingston moment with CM Punk to this one with Seth, but you could feel the real in it between them both. Because Seth, he just went at him. Like, point blank, listen, I hate you. I hate you. Because you went out of your way to destroy this company, me, and every person that works back there. And I ain't gonna stand for that. So, one of two things is gonna happen. You're either gonna self-destruct and then you're gonna leave, just like you have before, or by some odd miracle, you're gonna actually show that you're willing to work with others, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll earn yourself a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Punk declared himself officially to be in the Royal Rumble. So, if I had to guess, it looks like we're probably going to get Punk and Rollins at Mania based off of that. Yeah. So, we also had Charlotte Flair versus Asuka happen on SmackDown, which was going good. It was a good match, but Charlotte caught herself. Her leg snapped onto the rope the wrong way, and you could see her at one point going, my knee! Really bad, yelling to the ref on that, and nothing has been said on how bad it is, but I'm hoping it's nothing too serious and maybe just like 2 or 3 weeks off, put some ice on it, take some ibuprofen, go easy, and then, hey, back in the game, kid. I'm hoping that's the case because you never want to see a really, really good wrestler get sidelined, especially when it's this close to WrestleMania season, you know? So, and then the main event for SmackDown was Randy Orton and LA Knight, yeah! Dummy, yeah, let me talk to you. Going against Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, and good match, I liked it. They were hitting at points where early on in the show, Randy was talking to Nick Aldis. How can I even trust this guy? I didn't even know who he was until he showed up. Until I saw him coming down. Things like that. And then then he wound up. Match came to an end with them when Knight was going for the BFT, and then Randy just stopped Knight mid-motion, and then boom, popped an RKO, and Knight just looking like, alright, that's how we're going to play, okay. And I'll say this, you go back and you watch the War Games match when Randy returned, he did not take a single bump that night. But when he came out and was working this match, he was working, man, and he did good. But my God, Randy Orton's going to be one of those few guys that I'm actually going to really be sad and miss when he actually hangs his boots up for good. There's no doubt on that. But either way, with that said, now let's get into this week's show. Raw, Cleveland, Ohio. And it starts out with Jey Uso coming out. He cuts a promo. He's cutting a promo talking about on how, well, first and foremost, Yeet is back, for those who may not have known. Last week they had to pull Yeet off the shelf because apparently an independent wrestler copyrighted Yeet for wrestling and entertainment purposes back in 21. But from what I've heard, I believe the copyright expired, so I'm guessing that's why they brought it back. But either way, excuse me, Jay came out, cut a promo talking about on how, you know, basically kind of like what he was saying on the one show, The Bump, saying, yeah, bring Punk on to Raw. Welcome him here. You know, hope we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing all the good action going on. But we need to address fallen brother-in-arms, Sami Zayn. He's out of action for the time being. Get well, Oos. And yeah, Sami, like we talked about last week, Drew took out Sami, hit him at his knee and his ankle. Sami's out of action until further notice. If I had to probably guess, I'm hoping that it's a work and that they're just going to say, oh, you make a surprise return at the Rumble. If not, But Drew came out then, started running his mouth, talking about on how Punk throwing out fake apologies out the wazoo, and just like Jay and all that jazz, and then starts getting on him like stink on shit, and then they eventually get into their match. So Drew, he was leading pretty much pancaking Jay and taking him down. Jay actually wound up taking Drew down by the time they did their second commercial break. This was actually a 30-minute match. So I gotta give credit where credit's due. It was nice to see a good lengthy match at the start of the show. Personally, I'm in the mindset of you could tell just as good of a story in a match that's 15 to 20 minutes as you could 30, 40, or 60 minutes, but you know, I get it. Some performers like working longer. That's not an issue. I'm just saying. But it was a good match. I dug it. Match came to an end though when Drew, he wound up actually gouging Jay's one eye when the ref wasn't looking. Popped him with a Claymore, 1, 2, 3. Next up we had Rhea Ripley going against Maxxine Dupri. And yeah, well, Rhea was pretty much all sorts of mad, given every time Maxxine tried to go on the defense on the offense and attacking. Like, you're really doing this to me, kid? But at the same time, Maxxine, she looked really, really sloppy out there. Like, kind of sandbagging some, and it's just like, ooh. I mean, in a way, it kind of played off because at the beginning of the match, Cole and Barrett even highlighted she's only had 6 matches so far. So, in a way, it kind of gives her a safety net to explain it, but at the same time, you're just like, oh, damn. But either way, after the match, Rhea wound up doing the riptide, and then that reverse cloverleaf of hers. I can't remember what they called it, but after that, Ivy Nile, who was ringside to cheer her on, got in the ring, and then there was an epic stare down between them two, like, oh, we got two muscle mommies staring each other down. Why do I feel like this is one of those kind? This looks like the beginning of one of those kind of videos you got to be 21 or older to watch. So yeah, moving forward, the next up we had Bronson Reed going against Ivar, and good Lord Almighty, insert Big E quote here. You had two big meaty men slapping meat. And that's all that's the best way I could describe this match. It was a lot of good back and forth action with these guys, and it was two big meaty men having meat, slapping meat kind of action. And they were just slapping that meat all over the place. And I loved every fucking second of it. Good God, that was nice. Yeah. It was that. This is probably one of my favorite kind of matches to watch outside of hardcore wrestling. It's seeing two big guys that are actually athletic work. You know, not just two big guys and then it looks like two LJM figures smashing each other. Blah, blah, blah. No, that's disgusting. But if you got two big athletic guys that can work with each other, oh man. Oh, that's so beautiful. I could watch that all damn day. Match came to an end. Bronson Reed got the win doing a superplex. And I know what you're probably thinking. A superplex? Really? That's a transition move into a rest spot. Well, maybe, but given the fact that these are two big guys, and when they did it, when they hit the mat, there was a lot of impact to where even the ref was like, whoa! And she was even like a good inch and a half off the ground. Like, okay. That's a hell of an impact. So, yeah. Next up, we had Katana Chance and Kayden Carter going against Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell, with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven ringside on commentary again. And, you know, I gotta tell you, that was the highlight for me, having Chelsea and Piper on commentary for it. Now, Kayden and Katana, they were leading at the start of the match. Really fast-paced back and forth action. Wasn't meant to be a long match. Get my words right. It wasn't a long match, and it wasn't meant to be a long-winded match to tell a story. It was a quick match, quick pace action. Kayden and Katana got the win, doing their finish, the after party on Candice. Later on in the show, they officially announced Kayden and Katana are going to challenge Chelsea and Piper next Monday of next week on Raw for the tag titles. Excuse me. Next up, we got six-man tag action. All of Imperium, Gunther, Ludwig, and Giovanni going against DIY and, drumroll please, Wade, drumroll. Oh, God damn it, dude. This is what I get for this is what the work I get with my production crew. Miz was the third man. So it's DIY and Miz, and honestly, I don't blame him. That makes sense logically, just for the hometown pop. Because you got Johnny Gargano, who's a Cleveland boy, and then you got Miz, who is always who's a diehard Cleveland boy, and in Cleveland, Johnny and Miz, they walk on water. That's it, plain and simple. Had a nice start, good pace and flow. Healed the Imperium. They were leading into the break. Post-break, Johnny got the hot tag in. Right off bat, started working for a bit. And then Miz, when Miz got the big hot tag, got the secondary hot tag. And, oh man, that was a big pop for him. He got a nice, loud, big pop. It was working good. At one point, Miz, he had Gunther in the figure 4. Johnny had Ludwig in the Gargano stretch. And Gio wound up getting a tag in, did a springboard to an elbow to break the hold on Miz, and then stomped Johnny to break that hold. But then afterwards, Miz, he got his bearings, then boom, popped the skull crushing finale onto Giovanni Vinci for the 1, 2, 3. That is it. So your winners were DIY and The Miz. Later on after that, they showed backstage Miz challenging Gunther for a shot at the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship again, with Gunther saying, fine, under one condition. If I win, or when I win, you are never allowed to challenge me for my championship for as long as I reign. And Miz just looking at him. Deal. So yeah. So now we come to main event of the night. Shinsuke Nakamura going against the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. And this was really good. Really good, solid action with Nakamura leading into the commercial break. And he was pretty much leading the pace post-commercial break as well. Really good flow in the match. Actually, it kind of loved on how they mentioned that these two never squared off before, because all I could think is, if it would have happened, No. They never crossed paths in Japan, because, the timing was all off for that. Just, man, what could have been over there, huh? So, yeah. But, decent match. I dug it. Match came to an end as a DQ because Nakamura hit the mist. Hit the red mist on Cody. Cody, like he just got blinded and his face is melting. So afterwards, though, they start to get him out of there. The officials and medics, they start to get him out of there. And then next thing you know, Nakamura proceeds to go to do a beatdown on Cody. So maybe we'll get a match between him and Nakamura at the Royal Rumble? Question mark? I don't know, man. This is the first time in my life that I can recall that we don't have a WWE pay-per-view in December. So going from November until January, we got a lot of time to build up a lot of story for the Royal Rumble. So that's that's something different, man. So, yep. So, either way, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, please, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also, on that Threads gimmick and that Blue Sky gimmick as well. Tim Vicious on there. I swear, guys, I'm trying to be active on there. It's just, trying to juggle one too many chainsaws at once. Thank you to my executive producer, Ali Ray Ben, who did provide music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out. His stuff is on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. Check out that good She's Night. And also, thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. They're a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women with a little bit of nothing. Also, LFC is on Tubi, folks, so it costs $0 to help support them. But if you do want to throw out a few dollars to support someone, go to whatamaneuver.net and support the show. Buy some Vicious Rants apparel. Perfect gift for somebody you love, somebody you hate. Perfect gift for the holidays as well. So, also don't forget to follow these cool ass cats on Twitter, DSB_Ivy. main event _net, part of the main event wrestling network's YouTube page. Sergeant Curry Pants, 3-Count Thursday, Deep Dryer 1986. And folks, like I always tell you, you love me great, you hate me.
How could you do me like that? How could you? How could you? How could you do